everybody, good afternoon and welcome to Yoga with Roberta Freeland on the Banner Time YouTube channel. I hope you're having a fabulous day so far. Let's try and make it even better with a nice practice. Focus today is going to be a pig pose, so we're going to work towards a pig pose, and the pig pose is half moon, okay, so it's a balance. So we're going to be warming up all the joints that are necessary for us to sustain, especially the hips, but there will also be a lot of spinal work and a little bit of warm up on the shoulders, okay? Just before we get started, make sure that ideally you want a yoga mat. If you haven't got a yoga mat, then use a towel or something that you feel comfortable lying on. Make sure that you've got water available to you. Make sure also that you've got space to move around, so there is no risk of trips and fall. So you're fairly safe moving around. Ideally, you want a couple of meters in length. That's kind of the length of a yoga mat, really. The other thing is, if you do have a Myzone belt, wear it. It's not going to be giving you the same results that a HIIT class would, but every little help, towards your status. And then if you are following us live, do use the hashtag #BannerTimeLive to share your photos with us of your workout, okay? So we're going to get started. First of all, we're going to come into our full forces. So with full forces, you want your shoulders to be in line with the wrist, and you want your hips to be in line with the knee. We're going to start with a nice little breathing exercise. Cat and cow, some of you might be familiar with that. So we're going to take a deep breath in as we lift to gaze forward. And then we're going to exhale as we lower the neck and round the belly. We make our way into our cat. So we're going to continue inhaling to our full lung capacity and making our way into cow. And then exhaling out, making our way into cat. Keep going for a few more rounds. And then we're going to come back into our neutral position. And from here, we're going to stretch the wrists. So we're going to move the hands to the side, making a 3 to 9 o'clock position. If you were thinking of a clock, this is where your hands will be. And then from there, we're going to turn inwardly, as far in as we can go without hurting our wrists. So if your wrists do hurt, do back off. You've gone a little bit too far, but find that maximum point just to stretch the joints. Then coming back into that nice, comfortable 3 to 9, fingers pointing forwards. And then turning inwardly, again, feeling the stretch on the wrist, but no pain. If you're feeling any pain, you've gone too far. And then coming back straight, okay? Then from here, we're going to lift the left leg. We're going to do some circles with the left leg. And then circling in the opposite direction with the same leg. We're going to stretch the ankles up and down. And then circles with the foot. And circling with the foot in the opposite direction. Switching the leg, little circles. And the opposite direction. And then stretching the ankle up and down with the feet. Flex and extend, and then little circles. And switching to the opposite direction. And releasing, bringing the knees down, coming up into a nice kneeling position. If kneeling doesn't feel comfortable, you can just sit down cross-legged, or you can stand if you prefer. We're just going to do a couple of stretches in this position, stretching our neck, our circles. Four circles. And then switching to the opposite direction. Shoulder rolls, opposite direction, and releasing. We're going to come back into our full forces. We're going to bring our forearms down on the floor for our puppy pose. Now, the important thing with puppy pose is that, again, you've got your hips in line with the knees, and then you're bringing your forehead on the floor and your arms are straight. Just taking a deep breath in. As you feel the stretch in that shoulders, depending on how tight your shoulders are, this will feel harder or easier. Try and straighten those arms as much as possible. Ideally, you want the full forearm down on the floor. And then if you want to go a bit deeper, bring your hands together in prayer behind your head, just to intensify the stretch a bit more, but you don't have to. And then we're going to release, we're going to come back down into our full forces. And the next stretch is thread the needles, okay? So we thread the needles, we're going to lift our left arm up, gazing up. And then we're going to try the left arm under the right, bringing the left shoulder and the left side of the head onto the floor. And you can stay there. If you want to go a bit deeper with the stretch, you can lift the right leg off the floor. And you could also lift the right arm up. Try not to fall. If it feels too much, just keep the leg and the arm down on the floor. Bring the hand back down, the leg back down, and coming back to center. We're going to do the same on the other side. So this time is the right arm up, gazing up. Keep breathing in and out. And then threading the right arm under the left, coming in to thread the needles on the opposite side. And then coming back to center. So we're in our full forces. From here, we're going to take a modified half moon. So that's the easy version of the full pose that we'll be doing later. And to do so, we're going to keep the left hand and the left knee down on the floor. We're going to straighten the right leg and straighten the left arm, okay? You can stay there, or you can bend the knee and grab hold of your foot. And then we're going to release back down into our full forces, and we're going to switch to the opposite side. So straightening that left leg and the left arm now. Right leg, right hand on the floor. And you can stay there, or you can bend the knee and grab hold of your foot. And releasing back, coming back into our full forces. Okay. So from here, we're going to go and take our first down dog. So coming into your full forces, curling the toes. You want to lift the knees for our down dog. Now, down dog is supposedly a restful position, so you shouldn't feel any strain in this pose. If you are feeling any strain on the wrist, you need to bring the hands closer to the midline of your body, because with down dog, you want the feet, you want the legs to hold most of your body weight, okay? So there shouldn't be any strain on the wrist, and then you're just relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders. Your heels might not be on the floor, you might be more sort of like that, that's perfectly fine, it comes with practice. Just try and push them as far close to the floor as you physically can, so that you can feel a nice stretch in the back of your leg. We're going to paddle the feet up and down. And then we're going to start warming up the hips joints a little bit more by lifting the right leg off the floor, bend the right knee, gazing over towards your right armpit. Bring the leg back down, switching to the opposite side, left leg off the floor, bend the left knee, gazing over towards your towards your left armpit. And then releasing, bringing the leg back down. From here, we're going to take a step forward with the left leg, so the right knee down on the floor, into a nice little low lunge, just again warming up the joints. So you want to move the feet as far forward as you can, but keeping that nice straight line between the knee and the ankle, and you really want to feel the stretch on the inside, so in the hips joints area. And then from here, we're going to straighten that leg, keeping that nice alignment still from the hips to the knee. And you can stay there, or you can bring yourself a bit down, further down to the floor into a forward fold. And release, bringing that feet closer to the body. And you can stay there, lift your arms up, or if you've got the space and there is no pain in the knee, grab hold of that foot so that you're also stretching the front of your leg. And we're going to release, taking a step back, coming back into our 4 forces. We're going to do the same on the other side, so stepping forward with the right leg this time. Again, you want to move that feet forward to the point where you can actually feel a real stretch on the hips, joint area. And then from there, we're going to straighten that right leg. And you can stay there or you can fold. Gently walking your feet back to certain position and lift your arms up for a low lunge. Stay there. Or if it doesn't feel painful on the knee, grab hold of your left foot with both hands. This time we're stretching the front of the leg, so we're stretching your quads. And then we're going to release. We're going to take a step forward, coming into a full forward fold, stretching the back of the legs. Grab hold of your opposite elbow, gently rock from side to side. Hands to the floor, crossing the right feet behind the left. Legs as straight as possible as you come into a full forward fold. And crossing the leg, and then crossing your left leg behind the right as you come into a full forward fold on the opposite side. And then uncross the leg. Hands on the shin, flat back halfway lift, gazing forward. And then coming to a nice steady position. Lovely. Give your legs a little shake. Grab a sip of water. And then we're going to move into a flow. Now just checking the messages to see if there's any question. It looks like everybody's connected. So that's perfect. Okay, moving on to our first flow. So you're going to come to the front of the mat. I'm going to move my mat a little bit actually. Okay, that's better. And then you've got your feet. They can either be together if you're an experienced yogi, or they can be hips width apart if you're more of a beginner or you haven't done yoga for a while, because that gives you a better, more stable base of support. Okay, so should your feet position, then we're going to lift the arms up. And as we exhale, coming into a full forward fold. Taking a step back with the right leg, right knee down on the floor, lifting both hands up. Bring the hands back down, taking a step back with your left leg as you come into a plank. Now you can bring the knees down to the floor if you need to, or from planking position, pressing all the way to the floor, releasing the feet and coming up into your cobra. With cobra, with your upper back muscles that are pulling you back up, and you want to keep a nice bend on those elbows. You don't want to lock the joints, okay? Protect your joints. Always, knees and elbow needs to be soft. Then rolling up into a down dog. And from here, we're going to take a step forward with the right leg, coming down to a low lunge on the opposite side, lifting both arms up. And then down, taking a step forward, coming to full forward fold. And then we go again, stepping back with the right leg, this time running off the floor, coming up into a high lunge. Hands down on the floor, taking a step back, coming into a plank. Again, you can bring the knees down if you need to, or you can press. You can go all the way down and then up into cobra, or you can just release the thighs and come up straight into your up dog. So the difference between cobra and up dog is simply that your thighs are off the floor. Cobra, thighs down, up dog, thighs off the floor. Hold us holding you into up dog and your hands and your feet, nothing else, okay? Rounding up again, into our down dog. And then you can walk to the front of the mat, or you can jump to the front of the mat, coming into a full forward fold. Taking a step back with the left leg this time, as we come into a high lunge on the opposite side. Hands to the floor, taking a step back, and again, plank knees to the floor if you need to, or press down, and then it's your choice whether you want to come up into a cobra or an up dog. Just remember, even with up dog, your elbows should be soft. And then running up into down dog. And again, you can walk or you can jump to the front of your mat, coming into a full forward fold. Holding your opposite elbow, gently rock from side to side. Hands on shin, flat back halfway left, and then coming back up into standing. Fantastic. Okay, moving on to the next sequence. So from here, we are going to lift the right knee. So bring the right knee up, lift both arms up. And we're going to rotate, bring that foot to the side. So we've got nice 90-degree angles. So left foot is pointing forward, and the right foot is pointing to the side. Your hips should be squared to the side, or open hips is another term that you might have heard of in the yogi world. Either way, your hips are squared to the front, so you are comfortably able to look forward. Your hips are squared to the side, you can look to the side, okay? So you've got your front knee bent, you've got a nice 90-degree angle from the knee to the ankle, so we come into our warrior two, arms straight, gazing forward. We're going to straighten that front knee. We're going to have our palms of our hands facing forward. We're going to inhale from the hips as we make our way into triangle. Gazing up. Now, a triangle, where your hands stand depend on your chest. If you can keep your chest open and go lower and lower and lower to the floor, that's fine. If you find yourself turning down, you've gone too far, so you want to step back up, okay? So that chest, the ability to look and gaze up is what matters, not where your hands is along the leg, okay? And then from there, we're going to actually make our way into our peak pose. So we're going to bend that front knee again, keep our arms straight, or bring the elbow to the knee if you need to, whichever works for you. And then bringing the right hands down, and you want to place your left hand in front of your left foot, taking a leap of faith, lifting that leg. And you can stay there if this feels like this is too hard. You can have both hands down on the floor if you need to. So the easy version is to have both your hands down on the floor, bend the knee if you need to, if you can't quite keep it straight, okay? And that's your modified version. If you can have one hand on the floor and the other one off the floor, fantastic. Your hips should be squared to the side as we move forward towards the full pose. The next step is to straighten the right arm up. And your gaze can be down or up towards the ceiling, entirely dependent on your balance. Hands position should either be cupcake hands, so by cupcake hand is literally the fingertips, or full hands flat, okay? Nothing in between. This is just going to hurt your joints, so flat cupcake or flat hands, okay? So as we go into our half moon, keeping the position. And then we're going to turn our hips to the side, bringing their hands to the floor. So we're now facing forward rather than to the side. You can stay there, or you can bend the right leg, grab hold of your right foot for our sugar cane pose. Coming back up into standing. Bringing that right knee back up, hands up. And releasing that down. Fantastic. So we're going to do the same on the other side now. I'm just going to turn to that side so you can actually see me. Move the mat back as well. So coming into the other side of the mat, we're going to lift the left leg up this time. So we're on the right, we're going for the left, both arms up. Taking a step back with your left leg, feet pointing to the side. Right knee is bent, nice straight line from the knee to the ankle as we did before. The left leg is completely straight. Your hips are squared to the side, okay? You've got your arms straight and you're gazing forward for a warrior two. Keep breathing in, catch your breath. Keep your glutes, your legs and your core engaged. Straightening that front knee, hinging forward from the hips, making our way into triangle like we did on the other side. You might just be there, or you might be able to get further down. Just make sure your chest is over and you're able to gaze up. If you're looking down, then you need to step back up a little bit, or you're not going to get the benefit of the stretch. And then as we prepare for our pig pose, we're going to bend that front knee. If this feels too much, bring the elbow to the knee. Otherwise, just stay there and enjoy it. And then bringing the hands back down, placing the right hand in front of the right foot. Left hand's down, full support, lifting that back leg off the floor, and you can just balance, keeping your hands down on the floor, or if you feel stable enough, taking the left hands off and looking at straightening that left hand up. You can keep your gaze down, or you can turn your gaze up, completely dependent on your balance. Remember your hands, cupcake, so just the fingertip touching the floor or full flat palm. If you're somewhere in between, you're just hurting your joints, so it's better to back off into a cupcake and just have your fingertip touching the floor. And then from there, turn it to the side, bring the hands down or reach for that left foot for our sugar cane. And then we're going to come back into standing, lifting that left knee, lifting both arms up, and bring that leg down. Fantastic. Give your legs a little shake. They might be a bit shaky by this point. We're going to have a little sip of water. And it's time for stretches. So, making our way into seated with our yoga squat. Have your feet pointing to the side. Feet should be hip distance apart. Hands together in prayer. Nice and gently squatting down. Now you might just be able to get about here, and then you're going to have to find your own way to the floor. That's fine. If you can squat down a little bit more, you're going to be roughly where I am now. Taking a deep breath in, regardless of how low you are in this squat. Just catching your breath, and then in your own way, coming down into seated and carrying across the legs. We're going to walk our hands forward into a full forward fold. Walking your hands to the left and fold. Walk your hands to the right and fold. Coming back up, we're going to straighten the right leg. So the right leg is straight, the left leg is still bent into a cross leg position, and you're going to fold forward. If you can't reach the foot, that's perfectly fine. Have your hands wherever they are along the leg. Make sure your feet is flat. You really want to feel the stretch at the back of your legs, and then just enjoy and keep breathing in and out. That once is over, this is supposed to be the relaxing part, okay? So don't put too much stress on yourself. And then releasing, swapping the legs. Coming onto the other side and fold. And just relax, bringing the legs straight in front of you, and again, just folding. You might just be here, you might be further along. As long as your feet are flexed and you can feel the stretch on the back of your leg, that's all that matters. And then coming back up into standing. We're going to lie down on the floor, so we're going to bring the knees to chest, hug the knees, gently rock from side to side, realign the spine, engage this nice stretch. You can hold the back of your thighs and still keep rocking, or you can reach for the feet. And we're going to go into our happy babies, just gently rocking from side to side. And coming back, knees to chest, hands on opposite knee, feet together, drawing two separate circles with the legs. And then switching direction. And release. We're going to straighten the left leg, keep the right knee to chest, hug the right knee, hold it there as close as possible to your chest. Gently bringing the right leg over to the left. As you keep hold of the right leg with your left hand, the right arm goes on the floor, shoulder height, and then you're turning your gaze to the right, away from your leg. And now we're going to release. Straightening that leg, you're going to interlace your fingers on the back of the leg, and you can go as high or low as you need. But what matters is that you keep your neck and shoulder flat on the floor, okay? And then the leg as straight as possible. So if you can't quite have your hands up here, it doesn't really matter. They can be anywhere along. Try and stay away from the joints in the knee because you don't want to put pressure on the joints. But anywhere else in the leg, just keep the legs as straight as possible, pull it towards you. And now we're going to release. We're going to switch to the opposite side. Bring the left knee to your chest. Hold it there. And then we're going to move the left knee across to the right. Keep hold of the left knee with the right hand. Left arm flat on the floor, shoulder height. Keep your shoulders flat on the floor. Turn your gaze to the left, away from your leg. Coming back to center. Going to straighten that leg again, interlace your fingers along the leg. Whichever point works for you, try and keep that legs as straight as possible. Shoulder and neck flat on the floor. Feel the stretch on the back of your leg. And then we're going to release. Pressing the feet to the floor, bringing the right foot onto the left knee. Hug the back of your left leg or the front, depending on how open your hips are. You might need to be just there, or you might be able to reach to the front, in which case you can get a bit of a deeper stretch. Listen to your body, don't force it, but equally try and get a good stretch. And now we're going to release. Release the feet. Place the left foot onto the right knee this time. And again, hugging the front or the back of the leg, wherever you can reach, wherever you can feel the stretch. And releasing, bringing the knees back to the chest, gently rock from side to side. And in your own time, in your own way, just roll yourself back into seated. We're going to come into our cross leg for our final stretches. So we're going to bring the left hands to the floor and the right arm up. And you can stay there. If you've got the space in your hips, you can come down to your forearms. And then we're going to switch to the opposite side. Right hand to the floor, left arm up. And if you've got the space in your hips, coming down into your forearms. And releasing, coming back to center. We're going to take a twist. Left hand's behind, right hand on the left knee. Stay there, keep stretching. And then we're going to switch to the opposite side. And then we're going to release, coming back to center, finishing off with a nice gentle neck stretch. And switching to the opposite side. And release. Hope you enjoyed today's practice. Namaste. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. I will see you again. I can get this moving. I will see you again next Friday at the same time. So please do log in. Please do subscribe and stay up for the notifications so that you know when we're actually going live. And also share your photos using the hashtag Bannatyne Live. And if you want to connect with me, you can by finding me on social network, robertafreeland.uk. Okay, catch up soon. Have a lovely evening. Bye.